The following program features a man watching The View while trying to keep his brain from stabbing itself to be put out of its own misery. The host is a trained professional with years of experience in safely engaging with illogic that is dangerously mind-numbing. Do not try this at home alone. Please respect the flat screen TV rule. That is, friends don't let friends hold loaded weapons while watching The View. So stick around, punch that like button like it's a wall in Megyn McCain's house, because we are just moments away from starting the following program.
Americans. It's your boy, Dank Brandon. As many of you probably heard, I have ass cancer. And no, it's not the fun kind that you get from a booty juice encounter. Not that there's anything wrong with that, no homo. No, this is the shitty kind that cuts to the bone, kind of like a George Clooney op-ed in a Jake Tapper tell-all book. But as you all know, this isn't the first time I've got cancer, and it won't be the last. But I'm going to beat it like I always do. And then I'm coming for you, Clooney. Worst fucking Batman ever. Nipples protruding in his bat suit. You know why I didn't recognize you, George? Because you look like a gay Zorro with AIDS. And now it's your turn, Tapper. I'm going to shove your head so far up Brian Stelter's ass, you're going to be able to tell if he's scalloped or au gratin on the inside. I shouldn't have said that, but who's going to fucking stop me now? There are no strings on me anymore, Jack. All right, now I got to go beat this cancer like Harry Sisson, looking at a picture of peak booty juice with a beard. Dank Brandon, out.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the program. I am your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic. I have a goal up tonight, 15 yellows in the next hour, and I will sing you a verse from my new little ditty song, I created. So there you go. There you go, from that song by Sweet from the 70s called Little Willie. Anyhow, if we get there, we get there. If we don't get there, we don't get there. It's a short window. It's a shorter show. Because you all know I got my Diddy Deets thing happening afterwards. So I sort of got to give that short window in there. What do I got for you tonight? Well, there's two primary stories I really want to focus on. There's no gym tonight. I was like, you know what? I love having a producer, co-host producer. Jim is awesome. I just feel like once in a while, you and me's, you gotta mix it up one-on-one. It's much more, otherwise I feel like I'm too much here. And part of what I like about the show is that I get to be here with you. So, and that sort of makes me feel myself, which is probably why you have to go there. So, it's probably why I almost never have guests, because I'm just like, when I have guests, I just feel like I'm not in the same frame. It doesn't feel like the same frame. But at the same time, I think it's good for me to like create social connections. My mother always told me, she's like, you got to be more social. Why are you so isolated? You got to get out there. So that's why I bring people in here sometimes, and I'm fortunately, the vast majority of the time, the people I bring on in here are awesome people. Very rare that they're not. And yeah, sometimes I think of one guy. Well, anyhow, tonight's show, what I have for you? Well, two things. First and foremost, there's a new legal program that the Trump administration has come up with, which now is a way to invade into sanctuary cities and turn them on their head to get rid of the worst criminal illegal aliens that are that are plaguing our nation and are taking safe harbor in sanctuary cities. Amazing. We need to sort of break this down, understand how it works, so we can appreciate the godless of the Trump administration. I know that you all thought I said godless, but I did not say that. I said godless, not godless. Godless is it's a Jewish term, okay? It actually means greatness, if you want to know. it means greatness. But I realized right after it came out of my mouth that it sounds like godless, which is not it's not at all what I was saying. No, it is godless. Godless. Oh, brilliant. Awesome. Awesome. Spin them on their heads. Spin them on their heads. You'll see. You'll see. You're really going to like it. You're really going to like it. And it's going to be the opening thing. The other thing is this. You know that whole echoing, reverberating, like, oh my God, what is Boomer Joe doing to us now in the opening, where I had that whole thing of like the following program is watching The View. You probably could read it and not hear it because I forgot that when I'm doing an intro, I can't have another tab open in the background. Otherwise, you're all going to go insane. And everyone who is new to my channel and saw the first 30 seconds of that was just like, I am never coming back here again. I am never coming back here again. So if you're here, you're a dyed in the wool, true good Lawgic fan, and I very much appreciate you. Yeah, well, that is because I am going to be doing a small viewing of The View with you. I'm not going to leave you to watch by yourselves, because there is a reckoning. There is a reckoning there in Lefto world, okay, in Bizarro land. There is this growing story of like outrage, which ultimately can really lead into something hopefully very positive, as we're going to see at the very end of that story. But there's a reckoning coming down with respect to Dank Brandon and basically his atrophied, melted brain, and the impact that that's having on the left now. Their strong advocacy as to how he's totally fine. He's the best Biden ever. He's the best Biden ever. We've never seen him so strong. My God, he's a genius. Older, wiser, more experienced, on top of things. The best Biden ever. Yeah. We're gonna see how the reckoning is starting to come around. The reckoning starts coming around, and the best part about it is the jump start to this, right? The thing that like kicked the ball off the ground was one of the left's favorite heroes, Jake Tapper, who decided, I'm going to try to make some money and write a book. And oh my God. Oh no, how that's unfolding. It is awesome and delicious, and I'm here for every moment of it, and you're gonna have a good time with it. So let's get on into it. I want to start by introducing you to this program that Bill Malugin and I want to thank Jim from Jim Tells You for calling this story to my attention, and specifically Bill Malugin, who on X brought this to our attention, brought this to our attention that this is like actually a thing here in the world. Started yesterday, his initial report on this. Let's look at what he said. Exclusive. We witnessed an incredibly rare sight today in sanctuary city of Los Angeles. A rare sight as Twin Towers Jail transferred an illegal alien inmate to ICE custody. Not because sanctuary city policies have changed, but because the jail is being forced to cooperate with ICE as part of a new federal operation designed to neutralize California's sanctuary state law. The new Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney in Los Angeles, U.S. Attorney Esali, God bless him or her. Who are you? You should know. Bill Esali. Good job, Bill. Launched Operation Guardian Angel last week, and it's already forcing sanctuary jails to make transfers to ICE. How does it work? This is what I want to know. What's the secret? What's the secret recipe you came up with? Esali has organized a federal task force made up of ICE, FBI, HSI, DEA, and ATF working out of an office in downtown Los Angeles. Every single day, they are now scanning criminal databases with fingerprints and identifying illegal aliens in jails throughout Southern California who have been previously deported from the United States. Why would that be relevant? Why is that important? So there's a guy sitting, just so we understand what's happening. So someone gets arrested. So all the folks who get arrested in Southern California, they start scanning their fingerprints and checking these folks out. Why? If they've come back to the U.S. after a deportation, meaning they were here, they were outside of America, they came into the country, we say, go away, we're deporting you. It's a crime. It's a felony for them to come back in. Oh no, they've committed federal felony under 8 U.S.C. 1326, known as illegal re-entry. You cannot re-enter if we deport you. Now it goes from being like a simple misdemeanor, stepping on the lawn and going la 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 na na kish kish, into actually being a felony. Because it's a felony, now these people have committed a federal felony. And as soon as the task force IDs an alien booked into a local jail who has a previous deportation, they seek a federal criminal warrant on them for felony re-entry signed off on by a federal judge. Ooh, no. Unlike an administrative ICE warrant or an ICE detainer request where we say, hey, can you mind giving us these people? In which case, California says, go screw yourself, which is what Los Angeles authorities say when they see a request from ICE, a detainer request. They're like, we don't have to follow that, and we're not going to follow it. These criminal judicial warrants for 8 U.S.C. 1326 cannot be ignored by sanctuary jurisdictions, and California's sanctuary state law cannot shield aliens from these criminal warrants. Instead of releasing the alien inmates and ignoring ICE detainers, jails must hand the aliens over to the feds regardless of sanctuary policy because of federal supremacy clause. Oh no. With this operation, quote, we're going to be neutralizing California's sanctuary state policies, Asaley told me. We're going to flood the system with warrants for criminal illegal immigrants who are in county jails. They can ignore a detainer, but they cannot ignore a criminal arrest warrant. They have no choice. They will comply, and if they don't, if they interfere with our ability to arrest a federal felon, they can expect to face consequences for that. That is how you get. It's not no more asking. It's no more asking. It's telling. It's now we're telling. You want to see this? Let's finish the story first. Fox was granted exclusive access to task force as they scanned databases and found a previously deported Mexican alien in jail in downtown Los Angeles who had been arrested for robbery in the city of El Monte. They filed a warrant, and we joined them at LA County's Twin Towers as the sanctuary jurisdiction handed the alien inmates over to the task force, potentially one of its first on-camera transfers to ICE since California's sanctuary state law took effect in 2017. The task force says once they're at full steam, they project they will be arresting 40 to 50 aliens from local jails every week. And that's just in Los Angeles. You can also do it in Boston, in New York, in DC. You can do this everywhere. We can be getting rid of hundreds of folks, thousands of folks, and the worst of them, the ones who are have recidivism tendencies, the ones who are winding back up in jail, the ones who get arrested, those are the ones who are most likely to be getting rid of first. Now, is this going to be eliminating the problem of the millions of people? No, because most of them don't end up in jail. But at the very least, we're now forcing sanctuary cities to turn folks over once they've been arrested, and no matter how hard they try protecting these criminals. And I'm not just saying that all illegal aliens are criminals, but I'm saying the criminals who are now re-entering the United States after being deported and then get arrested for committing other crimes, and now we can start removing them. And once we start removing people faster and faster, and it starts it starts rippling through the Latino community that folks are actually being sent back home, that will encourage a lot more of them to start taking advantage of the program that Trump's been offering of, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to get the heck out of the country and fly you wherever the heck you want and self-deport. This is how we get this. This encourages self-deportation, which we're already seeing people start taking advantage of that new program. U.S. attorneys can use this model to neutralize sanctuary jurisdictions in other parts of the country. Let's watch. Who is this? Do they have the name of the guy? Do they give us the name of the guy? We don't know the name of this Mexican, this deported Mexican. Here we go. Let's watch.
In a Fox exclusive, you're watching an incredibly rare interaction as the jail in Los Angeles transfers an illegal alien to ICE custody. The sanctuary jurisdiction forced to hand this Mexican national over thanks to a first-of-its-kind federal operation.
With this operation,
you can sort of see that they're weeping. They're like, oh, damn it, we have to give him over to ICE.
we're going to be neutralizing California's sanctuary state policies.
Bill Asaley is the U.S. attorney in L.A. and the architect of Operation Guardian Angel.
California is the testing ground on this. We are one of the largest sanctuary jurisdictions.
All right, guys, thanks for circling up.
So how does it work? Asaley has created a federal task force made up of ICE, HSI, FBI, DEA, and ATF, all working together out of this office in downtown LA.
How's his criminal history? He's got the domestic violence.
They scan these criminal databases daily to find illegal aliens in local jails who have been previously deported from the United States.
We have a warrant for your arrest.
If they've returned to the U.S., they've committed a federal felony known as illegal reentry. And Asaley's office will immediately seek a criminal arrest warrant against them, which, unlike an ICE detainer, sanctuary jails can't ignore.
We're going to flood the system with warrants for criminal illegal immigrants that are in county jails. They can ignore a detainer, but they cannot ignore a criminal arrest warrant.
The federal task force brought us with them as they went to Twin Towers Jail in downtown LA to take custody of a previously deported alien they found in their database and filed a warrant on. He was facing local charges for robbery, but the sanctuary jail immediately handed him over to ICE, with California's sanctuary policies unable to protect him from the criminal warrant.
They have no choice. They will comply. And if they don't comply, if they interfere in our ability to arrest a federal felon, they can expect to face consequences.
And the task force tells us once they're up and running at full steam, they project they're going to be able to arrest between 40 and 50 aliens from local sanctuary jails here in SoCal every single week. Now, if this is successful here in Los Angeles, the task force says this could be used as a model to neutralize other sanctuary jurisdictions all across the country, guys. We'll send it back to you.
You bet. Bill Malugin live in Los Angeles with that for us. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, I'm very, very bothered. I'm very, very bothered. I'm sorry for being a little distracted there for a moment. I'm very bothered because I don't see myself being live here, and I don't know what the heck is happening. What is happening? I'm really, really, really bothered. Let me figure out what's happening here. This says I streamed 55 minutes ago when I go to my... What is happening on Rumble? I don't see anyone chatting from Rumble. I don't see that at all. I'm live on YouTube. I know that. I know I'm live on YouTube. But I don't know why I'm not live. I'm fine here? Oh, okay. I can't open it. I don't know what the heck. It's YouTube. Rumble's acting really weird for me recently. I can't see the live chat. I don't understand you, Rumble. Why are they so difficult? God. And it looks like there's only one person watching me, and it looks like a private video. I don't understand. I'm going to show you what I'm seeing here so you can understand why I'm so bothered. Okay. This is so messed up. News tools get rid. I see it's private video here. I can't get the chat no matter how I refresh. And it says it's a private video. I don't understand anything that's happening here. This is what's happening. We are live on Rumble. That's what everyone's telling me here from the Rumble. 127 people. This is just a mess. This is a mess. I don't understand this. Really getting tired of Rumble being so annoying. And I don't see when there's I never see when there's, I can't see the chat. I can't see nothing. I don't get it. I know everyone keeps telling me. I'm going earlier these days. I'm going earlier, okay? I'm going earlier these days because I have to, because I don't have a choice, because I have to cover Diddy also, and I also have to go to sleep at a normal time. The Diddy trial now is starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. This means that for me to get there, for me to do my prayers before I go in and get there on time, I literally have to wake up at 6:45 in the morning. I have to be up and out of bed at 6:45 in the morning. I can't be rolling till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like a zombie when I'm sitting there in the courtroom. So I have to start earlier so I can make sure I'm at least, wrapping up by midnight and getting myself 6 hours of sleep, because I don't fall asleep 5 minutes after I come out here, after I turn my camera off. No. I'm always afterwards, because I try to bring energy. I'm always very just revved up. And I sort of need to just play chess or something for a half hour, just to sort of calm myself. So yeah, it's very, so the point is I need sleep. So the only way I can think of doing both, and I really want to continue doing both, continue doing my regular show, the following program, on a nightly basis, and also providing Diddy details, is if I start earlier. There's just no other way around it. So I'm not looking to intercede with whatever you normally had going on at 9:30. I actually was thinking about pushing it up to 9 o'clock. I would start the following program at 9 o'clock. Although I would do this if people were so inclined. And maybe this is something I'm going to ask in locals. This is a great question for locals. I could do Diddy first and then do the following program afterwards. That might be a way to do this, because the people who watch me from the following program are used to me starting at a stupidly late hour. They're the crazy night owls. So I'm sort of torn. I don't like turning into a morning person, but I have to pick up better habits. Job for 9. Joe, I didn't get a welcome package from my membership. I don't know what happened. I'm going to talk to my producer about this. Make sure you get the proper welcome package, which is obviously it doesn't have any Kool-Aid in there. And if you sub up the right price, it could include a tracksuit. It could. Someone shared a picture on X of me from when I was down in DC for the inauguration, where I took a selfie in a mirror with someone I don't know how they did it. I mean, this is AI, but basically put me in a white tracksuit, which I thought was freaking hilarious. I thought it was awesome. A white and blue tracksuit. Israeli flag tracksuits. It's hilarious. All right. Anyway, the story I really want to get into today, the story I really want to spend some time talking with you all about, is Jake Tapper's book, Original Sin. His book, Original Sin, and the brouhaha that is ensnaring the left, for their original sin, which is lying to everyone for the last who knows how many years about the purported phenomenal mental health of Joe Biden. I watch a stream and wake up at 4 for work. No excuses. Most of my listening, I'm asleep. Yeah, most of the show I'm talking here, I'm asleep also. There are times that, like, the next morning, I have no idea what I talked about. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Let me put that. You know what? I'm gonna put that poll in locals. All right. I got the chat going on there. In fact, let me set this up here. I'm gonna make my little Diddy notification there. Let me check out what's happening in the ghetto. Ghetto people in the chat. All of you in the chat. Triggered if I was watching on Rumble. Ghetto people. Do you think I should switch up the order? Do Diddy first and then switch over to the following program? The reason I don't like doing that is because I'm trying to figure out how to get. I don't know when I'm going to end the Diddy trial stuff. Like, I just sort of, I go through it as quick as I can, and I don't know when it's going to end. So it's much harder to schedule a stream. To me, it makes no difference other than the fact that it's difficult to schedule. But if everyone who's watching the following program would far prefer that I start at 10:45 instead of starting at 9:30 for the duration of the trial, I aim to please. I mean, that's why I'm here. No jokes. Lady Lawgic came in 3 minutes ago. So I will put up a poll. This is worthy of a poll. This is definitely worthy of a poll. Let's do that. Start a poll. I will also ask you to please make sure you like and subscribe. Give a like, a share, a listen, drop a comment in the algorithm. And if you're watching afterwards and you usually try to catch me live, certainly let me know. Let me know if you think I should be doing the following program afterwards. Should I switch up and do Diddy details stream before following? Yes, no, or makes no difference. I'm gonna try and honor what. And tell me in Rumble. I would ask you to tell me in Rumble, but I literally can't see the Rumble chat, and I don't know what to do to get the Rumble chat. Which this is another thing that's been very aggravating. I have to know. I have to know what's going on in the ghetto. God, it's such a mess up. Such a mess up. I'm gonna go and let me see over here. If I open my Rumble app. This is so annoying. You love this schedule where I do the following program early. Why is it asking me my birthday? Why is the Rumble ad? You know, one of the things I hate about how they ask for your birthday these days is how far back I have to scroll to get to the year. It's not cool. It's like they're taunting me. I don't see me. It could be that people from the following program don't like that I'm conflicting with Tim Pool. I know I've been going against Tug recently, which is definitely not helpful for the numbers. Because that guy just has a voice which is like butter. Yeah, must be a talented guy who I like too. Here's a live chat. All right. Well, I have to go to my phone to get a live chat here. Look at this. I'm sitting here like watching myself on. Here's a live chat. This is so stupid. This is so dumb. Do Diddy first so normies can go to bed. Let me see how the poll's looking, because sometimes I forget to check the poll. Let me see how the poll's looking. Okay. So more of you are saying yes so far. Maybe that's what I'm going to have to do. We'll see. Maybe that's what I'm going to have to do. All right. Well, again, if you can hit like, I'd appreciate it. Let's get into this story here about how the left is eating itself alive ever since Jake Tapper wrote a book. And a lot of people from the left hate his book, but it's not even, this is the beginning part of the story. And we're going to watch a clip from The View because they're very angry about the book. And that just makes me laugh. So let's check out, we're going to start there. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stay with The View because let's face it, it's The View and it is mind numbing, but I'm a professional. So don't try to watch The View on your own. Don't try to watch it on your own because it's dangerous. It's dangerous if you're watching on your own. Thank you, Fletcher Boy. Very late fee, a nice variety show with a band and dancers and a taco bar. Nice. Sweet. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for paying the late fee. I appreciate that you don't shirk on that. Good job. Good job. Tell us, Whoopi. Tell us what's going on in the world, Whoopi. Tell us.
Let's talk about what's going on because Original Sin, the book claiming that Democrats covered up President Biden's declining condition, is out today.
By the way, when she shears her locks down, that she shears that wool down to like Raggedy Ann length, to me, I think it's really funny. I think she looks like a deformed doll. Like it's like one of the reject, like, oh, that something happened. Like what? This is such a weird length for a 70-year-old woman to have, but go for it. Just do it.
Co-written by Jake Tapper and Joe Biden's granddaughter posted her review ahead of its release, claiming it's all lies and it relies on unnamed anonymous sources pushing a self-serving false narrative that absolves them of any responsibility for our current national nightmare. The Daily Show's Jon Stewart weighed in about the book last night as well. Take a look.
Don't news people have to tell you what they know when they find it out? Isn't that the difference between news and a secret? Breaking news in a week. The news is selling you a book about news they should have told you was news a year ago for free. It was a terrible.
See, and here's the thing. I know this guy, and I know his people, and they're going to clip me on this. I know they're going to clip me about this stupid Jon Stewart clip because they are so aggressive. And they're not going to do it right away. They don't do it right away. No, all of a sudden at 4:00 in the morning, no one can watch this video anymore because Jon Stewart's mad about his stupid 3 jokes that were shared in someone else's thing that I'm watching, and his people basically are crazy aggressive. I'm going to hope that does not happen, and I'm going to skip past him just because I know what an animal, aggressive, as if like it's, oh my gosh, I'm stealing a nickel from him. That's what it's so, I can't. He's one of the worst. And I don't know if it's him individually or it's his company or whoever his handlers are. I don't know who it is. But people like those cucks like that I wish on them that they should lose every bit of their fame and popularity just because you're so petty. Why be so petty? that you're so worried about it. Instead of thinking to yourself, you know what? It only helps give me more added exposure, and perhaps I get more viewers. I tell everyone, in stark contrast, I tell anyone who asks me to, go ahead, use my stuff. If you can make money off of me, God bless. It's just more eyeballs on what I'm doing. I prefer if you're doing it in a way that's complimentary, but even if it's someone, frankly, who's doing it in a non-complimentary style, I'm not about to go out there and just start stomping people, because I think that you're a loser. You're a loser if you're worrying about that. Just be above it. Jon Stewart is that loser. So, and his writers are great. I don't know if he does the writing of someone else. Whoever writes it, some of his material can be very funny. Definitely helps that they have the little built-in laugh track there of the studio audience. But you know, some of it, and some of it, a lot of it is the same shtick over and over again, in just the way he'll deliver his lines with over-exaggerated hyperbole. But that's enough for me talking about him, because for all I know, he's going to try and get me dinged for even talking about him. Jew-on-Jew violence needs to stop. Pray for peace. I want to hear more, because they're so angry about Jake Tapper's book that it fills my heart with joy. They're so angry about it. Naomi Biden, it's all lies. It's all lies.
So should anonymous sources who talked to Tapper have spoken up about their concerns while he was in office, while he was still in office? And my other question is, why is this important to know now?
Yeah. Well, that's
why is it important to know now? In other words, why are we airing our dirty laundry? Why? And that's going to become important. I haven't watched this clip yet. She looks so lost, this woman.
It just seems to me, you know, we got a lot of stuff to be concerned about at the moment. So
Yeah.
In other words, let's not have friction right now. We need to circle the wagons. We got to circle the wagons. Why are you exposing a wagon? Why?
So I risk them? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Here's
Yes.
the Trump situation.
I do have here, in case you're in the ghetto and you're watching, just know this, please, that unlike yesterday when I had no way of actually accessing, I actually do have the chat scrolling here for me. So when people talk and stuff like that, I actually do see it. So if I see a Rummel rant, I will try to pull it up all the faster than usual, just because it'll just be staring at me in the face down here on my desktop. So yeah, even though I can't get it on my desktop. Right. It's on my literal desktop. On my literal desktop, i.e. my phone sitting on the top of my desk, not my desk. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to Joy, because she obviously has insight to add into this analysis. We have to do a deep dive with the View.
Atrocities. I'm going to list them for you.
Oh.
Cutting Medicaid.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we're concerned about now.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Cutting
Oh, joy. Oh, joy, oh, joy, oh, joy. So we're talking about this topic as far as Biden's infirmity that was hidden by the media and Jake Tapper's book about it. So where does Joy go with that? Let's fetch, and that's a word she probably would use. Let's fetch about Trump. Of course. You're not at all deranged. You're very, very sane, Joy. Very, very sane.
Medicaid, slashing funding for cancer research, rising prices because of tariffs, dismantling USAID, which helps children and people who are poor around the world, fears of recession, destroying due process.
There's a recession. What? Oh my God, I can't listen to her. I can't. This is stupid. She's so dumb. All right, so that's her list on that. Can we get back to Tapper now? You vomited out your Trump hate
about the cognitive decline of the person who is in charge right now.
Yeah. Woo! The clapping seals in the audience.
I would like to respond to that because
Let's talk about his cognitive decline. So this is like, I guess they basically look at the news. This is how it works in their writing room. whatever is happening in the world, how can we make it about Trump and that we hate Trump? That's essentially what I'm getting from this.
The factor in why we're in the situation we're in is because Joe Biden decided to stay in the race. And I want to speak to Jake Tapper and Alec Thompson specifically because I'm friends with both of them, colleagues with both of them. And I don't think there is anyone who could credibly accuse, especially Jake Tapper, of not critically covering Donald Trump for the last 10 years. He's one of the top journalists in this country. He moderated that debate, by the way. This is where I take issue with some folks on the left. We stand with journalists. We stand with the free press when they're going after their opponents like Donald Trump. But when they critically cover Democrats as, oh, no, they're lying. It's fairy dust. It's not true.
Or they go into Trump derangement syndrome and start talking about how Trump is cutting Medicaid and there's a recession and egg prices are skyrocketing.
Just want to point out that was his granddaughter.
And by the way, with the family, I take exception. Anyone's going to defend their family. But with political figures who are coming out and attacking these two journalists, how is that pro-democracy? How is it pro-Fourth Estate to say,
wait a second.
oh, but when you come after Democrats,
I saw him the other
suddenly
day,
you're a liar.
and all he's doing is hawking his book on the CNN. And he's flanked by other people, Ryan Stelter and Van Jones also hawking his book. When did CNN become a place to hawk your book? Is Wolf Blitzer coming out with a cookbook?
But by the way,
They're so angry about his book. His book, which calls out all the shocking secret of the decline of the cognitive state of Joe Biden, just uncovered. Ba-dum, dun, dun. We have to have a whole investigation, get a whole Law and Order onto this. Tonight, the shock stories you're about to see are real.
the reason he didn't publish it at the time to respond to the Jon Stewart of it, people said they weren't willing to talk on the record at the time because of fear of retribution. And I think,
every time I get one of these, Whoopi's one of yours. Okay, Whoopi's one of yours. All right. What do you say on that? What do you say on that? One of yours.
that speaks to a bigger problem in our government. The people who work for powerful figures feel like they cannot come out with the truth about their concerns and they have to wait till later,
and
whether
honestly,
it's Trump or Biden.
This list that Joy has, the way you get a focus on that is when you win elections. And the only people that were coming out on the record critical of President Biden was when Representative Dean Phillips ran and said, until we get someone better to come out and run against Biden, who he raised concerns about. About Biden in the Democratic Party.
You got rid of RFK. You kiboshed him. People forget he started running as a Democrat candidate. He started running. His campaign started as a potential Democrat candidate. He switched over to being independent when they wouldn't have an actual, but I'm pretty sure he definitely was a Democrat in the past. Now I need to check that out because I don't want to give misinformation. I'm gonna ask Rock to clarify just so I'm 100%. That's my recollection. Did RFK Jr. begin his 2024 presidential run as a potential Democrat candidate? I could be mistaken. Oh, no, I was right. I'm right. Yeah, there you go. The memory isn't as foggy as Biden's yet. Yes, RFK began his 2024 presidential run as a potential Democratic candidate. He announced candidacy for the Democratic presidential nomination on April 5, 2023, and formally declared it at a campaign event in Boston, which was a great speech he gave there. A great speech. On April 19, 2023, where he was basically trying to say the reason I'm launching this in Boston is because this is the very city which identified in 1775 with the Boston Tea Party was standing up against an establishment which was crushing and being unfair to its constituents, and that's what we're seeing today. I knew he started there, and then he ended up switching to being independent. Yeah, so you're sitting there saying, "Oh, he's the first one to call it out." No, you're incompetent. Even my foggy memory was like, no, he wasn't. He was hardly whoever you were talking about, Dean Phillips. No one remembers the name Dean Phillips. I when you first said Dean Phillips, I thought that was the name of an electric light bulb company. I don't know what Dean Phillips is. I do know RFK Jr. and he was certainly far more popular than Dean Winters or whoever it is you're talking about here. No one remembers Mike Winters. I don't even know why you're talking about that guy. Who is he? RFK Jr. is a name everyone knew. He actually was getting, percentage points as opposed to there's a guy out there named Dean Witter who's interested in running for the DNC candidacy.
He said, until we're willing to have this conversation out loud, the special counsel, Robert Hur, who took like the biggest attack when all he said was, there are some things here that are concerning on these tapes. Now they've been revealed and everyone's like, let's not focus back on that. The problem is there's a trust.
Why are we talking about how stupid he was?
Issue here. There's a massive trust issue with
There
the
has
voters.
always been a mass trust issue because politicians, media, nobody does what they're supposed to do. Now, I say, for me, listen, he's 83, so he's a little stumbly, he's a little rumbly. I can't point to anything that he's done as that he did.
No,
as
that he was running for.
No, nothing at all. No, I can't figure out. Yeah, we have 20 million illegal aliens here, and he's completely eviscerated our. I can't think of anything that he did. Making the world dumber. 6 viewers at a time.
Next 4 years.
But I'm saying, I want not you, but I want somebody to tell me, well, when did you know it was bad? If you knew, why did you wait?
Yeah.
So
Can I answer that?
Can I get in
He
for a
said that
second?
it was after he moderated the debate.
Can I
Yes,
get in?
but that's not, I'm sorry, baby. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you're telling me that hundreds of people knew that he was not able to do his job, then where the hell was everybody?
He did his job. He did his
Well,
job.
that's the point.
But this is the thing. Now, Jake is my.
Oh, good. Finally, Sonny's here. All right. Now you know you're going to get well-reasoned perspective because we got Sonny hosting here. Definitely about to get well-reasoned perspective. I don't know what she's going to say, but I do know that this is going to be the voice of sanity right here.
Former colleague, I know him well. He's a friend. He's a terrific journalist. He said that 99% of what is reported in the book was discovered after the election. So I think we can put that part to bed about journalists holding on information
Put
until
that to bed.
So that they can
Put
make money
that
off
to
the book.
sleep.
What I do think that we should be very, very concerned.
Put that to sleep because it only had there was no way to know about this until July of 2024. There was no way to that, when he's giving speeches about people in the audience who have died years ago, misidentifying and confusing his wife and his sister, when he's shoving them in a hammer, on all the time, no way to know. There's when he's wandering off, looking like some man who thinks he's in an amusement park, and when he's on the White House lawn or at a funeral, when he needs to have directions written on his cue cards as to who he should call on, no way for anyone to think that there's any sort of fatal issues or concerns with his capacity to run the country. No, why would anyone think such a thing? Let's put that to bed. Oh my God, so bad. So bad. I was near Explosion Palm Springs on Saturday. Media was actively trying to make narrative that guy was a right-wing nut job. Well, he's a left-wing nut. Oh, surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Sorry, I missed this earlier. I liked it best when it was you at 9 p.m. and then Nick at 11. You're talking Central Time. You're talking Central Time. That's not gonna happen. I don't think he's gonna be streaming at night for a while. Certainly not the balance of Karen Reed trial, but who knows? Who knows? No one knows.
about are the people that were in the Trump administration that did hold on to information about how Trump was conducting the presidency so that they could make money off of their book. We're talking about...
Let's turn it back on Trump again. We haven't talked about Trump in 3 minutes.
Former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who came on this show hawking his book, and I told him, why didn't you say something before? Former Attorney General Bill Barr, he wrote a book, didn't say...
Loony. You're so loony. You're so
anything
loony.
while he was in
By
there.
the way,
It wasn't about how he's not fit to run the country, doofus. Doofus. Oh my God. So stupid. So, they're also not journalists who are supposed to be reporting on this when they discover it. Bill Barr's not a journalist. It would be very unprofessional for him to be writing stuff like that while he's the attorney general. Not that professionalism seems to be a great, seem to be a very important value to him. Joe and Nick's streams are great. Thank you. Thank you very much. I try. And so does he. All right. So that's the View's take on the Jake Tapper situation. That's the View's take on it. But with all this coming out now, the left is very, very bothered, concerned that they're going to look like idiots for basically talking about how awesome he is. Here's one idiot who is screaming it louder than anyone, and that, of course, is Joe Scarborough.
Let's talk about you and your famous argument in 2024 before the debate about saying best Biden ever. This gets a lot of attention. I want to walk through it carefully. Set up the context of this. You mentioned on your show in the soundbite that you'd met with Biden, but just talk a little bit more about the meeting.
Well, and again, it's not just that meeting. I remember writing an op-ed in the Washington Post.
The wider context of your contact with him.
Yeah, the wider context. And I remember early on.
They're so afraid.
No, actually, it wasn't
They're
Afghanistan.
so afraid.
It was Ukraine.
They're so afraid.
And I wrote a Washington Post op-ed that said,
you think there's going to be an apology here? You think an apology is coming? No. Now it's time to double down. He really was a genius. He was a genius. You're going to hear it.
Biden needs to stop telling Vladimir Putin what he's not going to do. Joe Biden needs to start telling, Vladimir Putin what he is going to do, or just keep his mouth shut, basically.
True.
And went through all the reasons why being overly cautious on the issue of Ukraine was not serving our interests, because we needed to keep Putin guessing a bit more than that. Got a call late at night. As you know, Meek and I go to sleep pretty early because of our early wake-up call. Got a call late at night. And there's about a 30, 45-minute, pretty one-sided discussion from
on V-Ray says, so Joe put Rumble channel on his phone so he can ignore Rumble rants on 2 devices. Not true. Not true. Bunch of lying liars. Uzelian says, Joe, this is going to be a multi-part rant. Their TDS is deep, but they can't really complain about the book and the news. The View sits under ABC News and not Entertainment Division. Dr. Drew was talking about this treatment for this version of prostate cancer can cause dementia. My guess is that he had it back in 2019 and was receiving treatment for it, and this pushed his dementia. Ooh, interesting. Interesting theory. Very interesting theory. Very. I like it. I like it. Makes sense. Definitely makes sense.
President of the United States being critical.
So now he's talking about, in case you lost track of what this bozo, who some folks say killed his secretary, is talking about at this point in time, is that he labeled Biden, this is the best Biden we've ever seen, like a year ago. So he's now telling the story over as to how he came to learn that Biden is so sharp and on top of his game. And it's a private phone call that he had for 45 minutes with Joe Biden. Really, really.
More importantly, going in depth as to why he was doing what he was doing and taking me through it. And, Mark, you and I have talked to politicians. And I think this is a very important point for people that are listening and maybe skeptical, but maybe open-minded about this. You and I have talked to a lot of politicians, and I'll just be really blunt. Most politicians that call up and lecture me or lecture you about something we've written or said, we sit there and we're very polite, but rolling our eyes because, they're usually going, yeah, they're talking, they're doing their talking points. And again, you're in an interesting position. I'm not going to debate a presidential candidate or a politician when they're calling me up complaining about something that I've done on the air. I go, thank you very much. I appreciate your input. But usually I hang up the phone and Mika, who's that? And I'll be like, oh, that was fill in the blank. Oh my God. On his talking points. It was pretty embarrassing.
I have a difficult time believing that any politician calls up concerned about anything Joe Scarborough says. I have a very everything about this. I don't think that's happened in a decade. I have a very different. Everything about this story sounds to me to be utter bunk, and what he's about to say now is the biggest part of his bunk.
I didn't get that with Biden. In fact, when I finished talking to Biden
so first he starts with, I didn't get that with Biden. Oh, okay, all right, but now he's going to go even further.
I guess it was late 22. I hung up the phone and I said to Mika, I go, he doesn't have dementia. Whoa. Because again, it was not just cogent. It was a better, really, analysis of the situation than I'd heard from most people, unless it was, let's say it was Chairman McCall or somebody running a pertinent committee.
And you're confident if someone heard the audio of that conversation, they would come away with the same conclusion.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Anybody. And then
Anybody.
There were other calls there. Also, it's not a secret. Mike Barnacle is a good friend of ours and a friend of Joe Biden's, and talked to him regularly, probably weekly. I'd always talk to Mike. And again, there's no grand conspiracy. I'd say, how's he doing? How's his energy level? How's his, did he seem cogent? Did he seem off? Because you're reading the reports in the paper. And again, and there were about 5 people like that we were, and I would talk to you about this too. If somebody had a concern, I would call you up and said, hey, I've got so-and-so saw him in the White House and was.
So he's rambling and he's doubling down, and he's basically going to go on say he had a 2-hour conversation with him where he was just sharp as a tack. I couldn't even believe how sharp as tack as he was. Oh my God. Sharp as a tack. Oh, smartest guy I ever spoke to. Smarter than I ever seen him before. So yeah. So this clown doubling down in his gaslighting, because when you gaslight, it's important that you double down on that. Very, very important. Here's tips for gaslighting. Tips for gaslighting is when you're exposed, just keep saying no. Really peaceful. Really, really peaceful. Crazy peaceful. We're thinking about building a monastery here. Fiery, but really, 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 really peaceful. Crazy levels of peaceful. There's almost like a calm which has settled in because of the fieriness. That's what's happening behind them. Completely, totally peaceful. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, is he smart? But what I really want to watch with you before I have to run out of here, which is in 15 minutes, is this clip here of an argument between Jake Tapper and Megyn Kelly. Jake Tapper and Megyn Kelly, because she takes him to the mat. She takes him to the mat, and we need to appreciate this together. Before I get to that, let me just cover this real fast. I got here a Rumble rant from TX47. TX47 saying it was a phone call. I wonder if people on Biden's staff were using a voice changer for calls like that. I heard a phone call once with him where he sounded like not at all as demented as we hear him all the time. So that is your theory there could be holding water. And Pam says, so those all the books he has read? I don't have shelves that can hold the books I've read. I don't know. I don't think he's read all the books on those shelves. But let's get into the Megyn Kelly and her talking to Jake Tapper today, because this was some pure gold here.
I feel tremendous humility about my coverage, that Laura Trump interview, for example, et cetera. She saw something that I did not see at the time, 100%. And I own that. I did ask Joe Biden to be transparent about his health records in an interview in 2020. I did ask him about the fact that voters
But then he wasn't.
thought that he was not.
Why is Jake Tapper joining Megyn Kelly here? Why? Why is he doing that? Because he's hawking a book. He's like, I want people to buy my book. You have to buy my book. So I'm going to go on Megyn Kelly here and basically make a clown out of myself. She steadily starts, like, while he's talking, it's almost like she's like, okay, here's like the white makeup for your cheeks. Let's put the red stuff on your lips. Here's the nose. It gets better and better.
Not transparent at all. No.
He promised you that he would be transparent about his health records, and then he wasn't. And when you sat with him again,
at all.
including 1 month after the Jackie Walorski thing, you didn't ask him about it. You didn't follow up on the fact that he was falling up the stairs, that he was losing his train of thought regularly, that he was slurring, that he was incomprehensible, that he was getting lost on the White House lawn. You sat right across from him and you asked none of that, notwithstanding the fact that he had promised you he would be fully transparent about his health issues.
Fire.
That's true.
But let me see how I can try and squirm here.
But I did ask him about his age and the fact that the American people had concluded that even though he said whenever anybody brought up the subject of his age, watch me. And I said,
yes,
they're watching you and they are concerned that you were too old for this job.
But you know as well as I do that there's a way of, you can say, hey, there's this poll on your age, or you could say, you just forgot that Jackie Walorski was dead. You asked where she was moments after watching a videotape tribute to her. You lowered the flags at the White House after she died. This happened 13 days before you sat with him. There is a way of pressing a man like that on the actual infirmities to bring it home to him and to the audience, and you didn't do it.
That's correct. I didn't. And like I said, I feel humility about my coverage. I mean, it's not like I was asking him his favorite movie or his favorite color. We were talking.
Yeah, but you weren't actually asking him hard questions. That's the point. She just walked out for you off the top of her head. Obvious questions you should have been throwing at him that you didn't.
About Putin. We were talking about other issues of national importance. But yeah, I mean, of course, I've said, I look back at my coverage with humility, and I wish I did cover the issues of age and acuity, but I wish I had covered them much more. And I wish, I mean, of course, it's May 2025. Do I wish that in that 10, 15-minute interview I had with Biden in October?
I assume the guy sitting next to him is Alex Thompson. Is Alex Thompson, who co-wrote the book with, I don't know who that is. I don't know if he's going to talk at all during the next 7 minutes that we have left of this segment. But I assume he's sitting there. And if it is Alex Thompson, he's like, my God, what I have to put up with to get the name recognition of Jake Tapper as co-authoring my book with me. Because probably Alex did most of the work, and then he took Jake Tapper's name, threw it on top, and said, I'll split the money with you. And this way he ends up, having people buy his book instead of people saying Alex who, which is what people would say if I wrote a book. If I wrote a book and put my name on it, folks would almost certainly be saying Alex who. So yeah, that's what. But he's stuck sitting there and watching Jake squirm under the microscope lens of Megyn Kelly.
Over 2022, that this had been the only subject because I had then.
Well, it wasn't
what I
just
know
that
now.
though, Jake. It wasn't just that. I mean, you sat with him a couple of times in the course of his presidency, and these issues were not pressed. Well, there was at least that time, and then there was the time at the the and but separate and apart from that, you covered the Biden's presidency. No. Let me just finish my point. You covered the Biden presidency.
I had one
okay,
interview
right,
with
and
him
it was
during the
13 days
presidency.
after the Jackie Walorski thing. But you covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seemed to be running cover for the president.
I don't think
interested.
that's true.
Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is. This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
Unbelievable. So Laura Trump was talking about his lack of mental acuity. Jake Tapper is pretending it's all a stutter.
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay.
It makes me uncomfortable.
Okay. How dare you imply such a thing?
You are
to
no.
watch somebody on stage search for
That's so
questions.
amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I
a
think that you
stuttering.
were mocking his stutter.
Idea, Joe
Yeah,
Biden.
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no
Jake.
standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel
Laura.
sorry.
The guy sitting next to Jake Tapper right now is like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is the guy I chose. This is the guy I chose.
Sorry for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
Disgusting.
Do
Disgusting.
you want to apologize to Lara Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
And what did she say?
I mean, I don't want to disclose the contents of a private conversation, but I thought the conversation went well. And
Yeah, I had that conversation on air. So you apologize in private after you were so dismissive of her in public? Oh, you're such a mensch. Oh, you're such a good guy.
she said, she has said this publicly, so I feel fine sharing it. She said that she would never mock anybody's stutter. But I mean, after we did the research for this book, and I realized how bad his acuity issues were, I called Laura Trump and I said, you were right.
She was totally right. That's the thing, because when I watched that clip, and I'm giving voice to what a lot of people watching the show are feeling, Jake, I feel angry because she was right. And not only did you not allow her to make her comments, but you seemed to try to humiliate her. You had a hostility toward the position, but she was totally right. And then you lectured her on how she was in no position to diagnose cognitive decline, which you guys do at length, including on page 4 of your book. You describe at length his cognitive decline, which is all she tried to do with you. But you had such a visceral reaction to her. And my feeling is that's because you didn't want to hear it.
No, I'm happy to talk about this. I didn't come here thinking that you weren't going to ask me about this. So I'm happy to talk to you about it.
No, I know.
The first time I saw the coverage of Laura Trump's comments, which were interpreted as her mocking Joe Biden's stutter, was in January 2020. I read it in conservative media. I read it in the Daily Mail. And that's where I saw that her comments were being interpreted that way. After those comments were publicized, it got a lot of coverage. And Sully Sullenberger wrote an op-ed in the New York Times criticizing her about this. So that's the context for that, that I was following up on a story that had been out there months before. This is also in the context of October 2020, a very intense time. People on the Biden side are saying
And we really, really, really needed Joe Biden to win.
crazy things about Trump. People on the Trump side are saying crazy things about Biden, including Don Jr. suggesting that Joe Biden is a pedophile. So that is the larger context. But as I said, her comments have aged well. My comments have aged poorly. I own that. But I think what is significant is, in addition to me owning that, the reporting that Alex and I have done, which is beyond.
Let's get back to talking about my book. Let's get back to talking about that. We need to be talking about my book. Yes, I was wrong. Can we please talk some more about my book? Joe Scarborough, Joe Biden ran circles around my mind with his insights, riddles, metaphors, 4D basket weaving that I couldn't begin to appreciate or comprehend. He blew my mind with his cadence. Well said. Well said indeed, John.
Beyond just, and when I say just, I don't mean to diminish it, but the comments of Joe Biden making gaffes, saying things stupid, tripping, are all important and all deserved to be aired and all deserve scrutiny. But as you know, Megyn, because even though you look 30 years younger than me, we're roughly the same.
All the way down to like weeks before he dropped out, when he almost wandered off the stage and Barack Obama had to guide him which way to go. and then they tried saying, well, here's a picture of of Donald Trump shaking hands with Junior after his rally. And no, it's totally a lie that he's being led off stage there by all the way to July of 2024. This mythology was being proffered by mainstream media hacks like Jake Tapper.
Same age. Joe Biden has been saying stupid things for decades. Okay,
I get
and
what you're
he has
saying,
been-
but this minimizes it too, because it was
No,
more
I'm not
than saying
minimizing at all.
stupid things. But I'm telling you, like over here in my ecosphere, we were covering all of these. It wasn't just falling down; it was getting lost. It was some of the stuff you report in your book. We knew, and we were reporting on, like the multi-jump cuts in the videos of him, where it was obvious he couldn't get through a 1-minute take. So they had to use those. It was clear to us that he was using teleprompter and there was some reporting on that at the time, all of which the White House was denying. Now, with the current White House, I have some connections. With the Joe Biden White House, I had none, but you did. You did. And so while you've been in Washington 30 years, Jake, you guys, you and CNN have White House connections, but there was no effort. None to get to the bottom of this. And now for you guys to write this book, like there was a cover up. It's like there was a cover up and there was an attempted cover up. It could only ever work if you allowed it. This July, speaking of recent.
And she actually had another clip, which I saw somewhere else. I saw on X. I don't have it here, where she's like, your cover up and now writing a book about it comes across like OJ's If I Did It. But over here, it's If I Hit It, which was a phenomenal line. A phenomenal line, If I Hit It. So kudos to Megyn Kelly, who, as usual, brought the fire and just dismantled Jake Tapper there, which is something that he richly deserved. Richly deserved. Finally here, I want to bring to you one more clip. Because it's not simply the humiliation of Jake Tapper and the left trying to like cover their tracks now, because he's calling to mind that his mental acuity has been in question for a while, and pretty much his book is what sent the left into turmoil now in the first place, because now that he's coming out and saying he's been in decline for a while, it starts raising all these different questions. Why did you guys cover it up? And even more important questions, which Molly Hemingway brings up in this clip right here.
Comcast business.
No, that's not what we wanted to happen. No, I set that up so beautifully. Which Molly Hemingway.
And just power businesses.
Oh,
we help turn them into logistics mastery.
Oh my God.
Supply chain transforming.
Oh my God.
Seamlessly restocking. Frictionless paying.
Guy's facial expression.
Poke bowl ordering.
Tapper is hilarious.
Cyber securing.
He was.
Mobile access granting.
Everything about that clip is
data
great.
managing. Welcome to the worlding modern businesses.
Okay.
Powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
There you go.
Molly, this former President Biden, sad news, and obviously people weighing in on the news about his prostate cancer diagnosis on both sides of the aisle. But it comes after this revelation over the weekend, the her tapes in this investigation. Wall Street Journal writes this in the editorial board: a reckoning for the Biden cover-up. The cover-up of Mr. Biden's mental decline will go down as one of the great scandals of modern politics. By refusing to admit what voters could so clearly see, Democrats denied their party an open primary. Once Mr. Biden imploded, they handed Kamala Harris the nomination without debate. Democrats and the press are now appalled by Mr. Trump's second term. They would do better to think upon and seek contrition for their own role in making it possible. Wonder in this current environment whether that focus, obviously that came out before the diagnosis, whether that changes at all.
Well, I don't think so. I think it actually increases the problems here. We're in the midst of this staggering presidential scandal from the Biden administration. Whether you're talking about the mental decline or the physical decline, there was a conspiracy to keep from the American people knowing who was actually operating as president.
Yes.
And this is something that we still don't really have answers to. Joe Biden's.
That's what starts now. We need to start going after the people, not the legacy, stupid, idiot media who are trying to cover it up. No, the people who are running the country and pretending that Joe Biden knew what the heck was going on, because they can face potential criminal repercussions, criminal punishment, if in fact they were acting without genuine authority of a guy who had lost his mind.
His name was the one on the ballot that people chose to be president, not Jake Sullivan or Barack Obama or Susan Rice. So understanding who was operating during this period of both mental and physical decline, something we haven't even come close to getting answers on. And it really makes all other, presidential scandals throughout history seem somewhat pale in comparison.
Yeah, President Trump wants to know who's doing the auto pen and all of those things.
Yeah, who's behind the auto pen? Who's behind all these bills? Who knows? Who knows? No one knows. No one knows. So that's what we got. That's what's going on in the world tonight. Now you're all up to date. You're all up to date. I'm checking out my poll and seeing how it came out here. 40% of you say, yes, I should switch to do Diddy Detail Stream before the following program. 21% say no. 40% say no difference. So I'm going to take the no difference people, put them aside, and look at this as it's now 39-21. Looking at this as being pretty much, of those who care, it's 2-1. Of those who care, it's just 2-1. I'm going to try that, God willing, tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, I'm going to try to start the Diddy stream at 9:30 and try starting the following program stream at 10:45. And I'll roll one into the next, which probably makes more sense also because the Diddy people might be brand new folks, more brand new folks. And maybe that way I'm rolling them in. So I'm going to have to make sure that I do that really fast and make sure I'm really done with that, because my Diddy stream tends to take close to 2 hours. That's why I start so early. So I'm going to have to try to do that tomorrow night. I'm going to try to start. Maybe I'll even try to start if I can at 9 o'clock. And that way I can start up my following program at 10:30 and do it like that. I think that's the best way to do it. I think it might be better. We'll see. This is all an experiment. We're experimenting together. Isn't it fun? Don't make it like that. These a-holes once again act like none of us have seen a family member in cognitive decline. Yes, that's right, Deb. A medical degree does not replace common sense. 100%. Wellesley saying, we see the reality better than ever. We don't need the media anymore. This is the proof. I am the proof. I am the proof. I also missed earlier a rant from Sticks 1776. You'll get to see how I can't wear those glasses for too close. I'm supposed to feel bad for a POS that got butt cancer. Nah. Nah, that's not going to happen. I weighed in with that when it first came out. I think on Sunday I did a stream where I was talking about how, look, the reality is this is something that I'm not throwing a party over, but I'm glad it wasn't human intervention that caused him his current suffering. That would be terrible. But if God decides to plague someone who is certainly a very wicked man, I am not going to be weeping for that at all. Not weeping for that at all. All right, that is my show, and I'm sticking to it. We're about to switch on over. I'm going to be closing down this stream and rolling you all on over into Diddy World, where I'll be giving you the Diddy details from day 7. I'm going to talk to you in detail about testimony from the mother of Cassie Ventura, who looked pretty strong, too strong for the defense to handle, and also the Punisher in Escorts. Yes, that's his nickname, the Punisher. I didn't make that up. That's what they're calling him in the trial, the Punisher. His actual name is Sherrod Hayes. And the actually significantly good work that we saw from the defense cross-examining the Punisher, which I thought they did well. I thought they did pretty well. And the way they did well was not in making him look like he was lying, but using kernels of his testimony to potentially help secure Diddy an acquittal. All that coming up in 2 minutes when I start that stream up. I'm just going to go downstairs, get a quick drink, and come on up here and start that stream on Diddy. I'm rolling you all on over there. I hope you will join me. If not, I will see you tomorrow, and I'm probably going to be starting the following program after the Diddy stream tomorrow. So that would probably be somewhere like around 10:30, 10:45, depending on what time I start the Diddy stream. So make sure you follow me at goodlogic.locals.com, goodlogic.locals.com, so you know what time I'm starting up the following program. And also make sure that you like, share, subscribe, all that, and drop a comment if you think that I missed anything important, or if you think that my assessment on Joy Behar was not sufficiently biting. Let me know. Let me know. In the meanwhile, lab meat, they, them, definitely 100% not for you. It's not for you. It's for they, them. Don't eat the bugs. Good night and Godspeed.